Hare Krishna. Today we are starting Bhagavad Gita reading, and we are reading from Bhagavad Gita as it is. His Divine Grace A.C. Vedant Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Let's start with the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So we are going to start from the uh, words for setting the scene. It is on page, the Roman page 13, small Roman number. Setting the scene. Although widely published and read by itself, Bhagavad Gita originally appears as an episode in the Mahabharata, the epic Sanskrit history of the ancient world. The Mahabharata tells of events leading up to the present age of Kali. It was at the beginning. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay. It was at the beginning of this age, some 50 centuries ago, that Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to his friend and devotee Arjuna. So basically, we have a war starting in that age, and before the onset of the war, Lord Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to his friend Arjun, who is ready to now start the war. So let's read the first chapter. Okay. Chapter 1, Observing the Armies on the Battlefield of Kurukshetra. Dashratha said, O Sanjay, after my sons and the sons of Pandu assembled in the place of pilgrimage at Kurukshetra, desiring to fight, what did they do? Okay, so Dashrath is the king who has 100 sons and they are on the battlefield with Pandavas. So let's read the purport. Bhagavad Gita is the widely read theistic science summarized in the Gita Mahatmya, like glorification of the Gita. There it says that one should read Bhagavad Gita very scrutinizingly with the help of a person who is a devotee of Sri Krishna and try to understand it without personally motivated interpretations. The example of clear understanding is there in the Bhagavad Gita itself, in the way the teaching is understood by Arjun, who heard the Gita directly from the Lord. If someone is fortunate enough to understand Bhagavad Gita in that line of disciplic succession without motivated interpretation, then he surpasses all studies of Vedic wisdom and all scriptures of the world. One will find in the Bhagavad Gita all that is contained in other scriptures, but the reader will also find things which are not to be found elsewhere. That is the specific standard of the Gita. It is the perfect theistic science because it is directly spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. The topics discussed by Dashratha and Sanjaya, as described in the Mahabharata, form the basic principle for this great philosophy. It is understood that this philosophy evolved on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, which is a sacred place of pilgrimage from the immemorial time of the Vedic age. It was spoken by the Lord when he was present personally on this planet for the guidance of mankind. The word Dharmakshetra, a place where religious rituals are performed, is significant because on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was present on the side of Arjuna. So Arjuna is representing the Pandavas, which is on the other side of Duryodhan, who are the Dashratha, who is the king. On the other side, his sons, his 100 sons are fighting against Pandava, led by Arjun. Let's wait. The word Dharma Kshetra, a place. Okay, I read all this. Dashratha, the father of the Kurus, who was highly doubtful about the possibility of his son's ultimate victory. In his doubt, he inquired from his secretary Sanjay, what did they do? He was confident that both his sons and the sons of his younger brother Pandu were assembled in that field of Kurukshetra for a determined engagement of the war. Still, his inquiry is significant. He did not want a compromise between the cousins and brothers, and he wanted to be sure of the fate of his sons on the battlefield. Because the battle was arranged to be fought at Kurukshetra, which is mentioned elsewhere in the Vedas as a place of worship, even for the denizens of heaven, Dashratha became very fearful about the influence of the holy place on the outcome of the battle. See, the importance of the land is also provided here, that the land can also influence the mind of people, and hence it will, result in a different expectation of the battle. He knew very well that this would influence Arjun and the sons of Pandu favorably because by nature they were all virtuous. Sanjay was a student of Vyas, and therefore, by the mercy of Vyas, Sanjay was able to envision the battlefield of Kurukshetra even while he was in the room of Dashratha. And so Dashratha asked him about the situation on the battlefield. Both the Pandavas and the sons of Dashratha belong to the same family. But Dashratha's mind is disclosed here. He deliberately claimed only his sons as Kurus, and he separated the sons of Pandu from the family heritage. One can thus understand the specific position of Dashrath in this relationship with his nephews, the sons of Pandu. In the paddy field, the unnecessary plants are taken out. Sorry, I read it again. As in the paddy field, the unnecessary plants are taken out, so it is expected from the very beginning of these topics that in the religious field of Kurukshetra, where the father of religion, Sri Krishna, was present, the unwanted plants like Dashratha's son Duryodhan and others would be wiped out, and thoroughly religious persons headed by Yudhishthir would be established by the Lord. This is the significance of the words Dharmakshetra and Kurukshetra apart from their historical and Vedic importance. So we understand that Dashratha is still doubting that his sons will win because he knows that Lord Krishna is on the side of Pandavas. So he's already feeling that something not in his son's favor is going to happen, just like a paddy field. The example of paddy field is given that in that way, Krishna will remove all his kurus from the battlefield and win the battle. Let's read text 2. Sanjay said, O king, after looking over the army arranged in military formation by the sons of Pandu, King Duryodhan went to his teacher and spoke the following words. Okay, let's read the purport. Dashratha was blind from birth. Unfortunately, he was also bereft of spiritual vision. He knew very well that his sons were equally blind in the matter of religion, and he was sure that they could never reach an understanding with the Pandavas, who were all pious since birth. Still, he was doubtful about the influence of the place of pilgrimage, and Sanjay could understand his motive in asking about the situation on the battlefield. Sanjay wanted, therefore, to encourage the despondent king and thus ensured him that his sons were not going to make any sort of compromise under the influence of the holy place. Sanjay therefore informed the king that his son Duryodhan, after seeing the military force of Pandavas, at once went to the commander-in-chief Dronacharya, who informed him of the real position. Although Duryodhan is mentioned as the king, He still had to go to the commander on account of the seriousness of the situation. He was therefore quite fit to be a politician. But Duryodhan's diplomatic veneer could not disguise the fear he felt when he saw the military arrangement of the Pandavas. Okay, let's read text 3. We have about 10 minutes more. I think we can do text 3. Text 3 of chapter 1. O my teacher, behold the great army of the sons of Pandu, so expertly arranged by your intelligent disciple, the son of Drupada. So this is this Duryodhan is telling this to Dronacharya. Okay, let's read the purport. Duryodhan, a great diplomat, wanted to point out the defects of Dronacharya, the great Brahman commander-in-chief. Dronacharya had some political quarrel with King Drupada, the father of Draupadi, who was Arjun's wife. As a result of this quarrel, Drupada performed a great sacrifice by which he received the benediction of having a son who would be able to kill Dronacharya. Dronacharya knew this perfectly well, and yet, as a liberal Brahman, he did not hesitate to impart all his military secrets when the son of Drupada, Drashtadyumna, was entrusted to him for military education. Now, on the back, so in those days, people were so pious and they would still, even after knowing that this is the person who is going to kill me, he still taught, Dronacharya still taught that person all that he knew, since he was the teacher at that time of this school, and he had taken an admission in his school. So even though he knew that this person is going to kill me someday, he still gave his knowledge and military education to him because that is his duty. Now on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Drashtadyumna, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correct, Drashtadyumna, okay, took the side of the Pandavas, and it was he who arranged for their military phalanx after having learned the art from Dronacharya. Duryodhan pointed out this mistake of Dronacharya's so that he might be alert and uncompromising in the fighting. By this, he wanted to point out also that he should not be similarly lenient in battle against the Pandavas, who were also Dronacharya's affectionate students. Arjun especially was his most affectionate and brilliant student. Duryodhan also warned that such leniency in the fight would lead to defeat. Yeah. Let's read text 4. We have some time. It's a small text. Text 4 and 5 and 6 are very small. Okay. Text 4. Here in this army are many heroic bowmen equal in fighting to Bhim and Arjun. Great fighters like Yuyudhan, Virata, and Drupada. Purport. Even though Drashtadyumna was not a very important obstacle in the face of Dronacharya's very great power in the military art, there were many others who were causes of fear. They are mentioned by Duryodhan as great stumbling blocks on the path of victory because each and every one of them was a formidable as Bhima and Arjuna. He knew the strength of Bhima and Arjuna, and thus he compared the others with them. See, looking at the battlefield of Pandavas, Duryodhana is already scared, and he's already feeling the 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 doubt that he might lose. See, it's already in the mind that I'm going to lose. So when you go with the mind that I'm already going to lose, you will definitely lose. That's what I understand from this. So he's already creating the fear that so many people who are, powerful are on the other side and he might not win. Text 5. There are also great, heroic, powerful fighters like Drashtaketu, Chekitana, Kesaraja, Purujit, Kunti Bhoja, and Saibya. Text 6. There are the mighty Yudhamanyu and very powerful Uttamauja, the son of Subhadra and the sons of Draupadi. All these warriors are great chariot fighters. Text 7. But for your information, O best of the Brahmans, let me tell you about the captains who are specially qualified to lead my military force. So this is Duryodhan telling Dronacharya. Okay. Text 8. There are personalities like you, Bhishma, Karna, Krapa, Ashwathama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta called Bhurishrava, who are always victorious in the battle. Purport. Duryodhana mentions the exceptional heroes in the battle of whom, all of whom are ever victorious. Vikarna is the brother of Duryodhan. Ashwathama is the son of Dronacharya. And Saumadati or Bhurishrava is the son of the king of Balikas. Karna is the half-brother of Arjun and he was born of Kunti before her marriage with King Pandu. Kripacharya's twin sister married Dronacharya. Text 9. There are many other heroes who are prepared to lay down their lives for my sake, for all of them are well equipped with different kinds of weapons and all are experienced in military science. Purport. As far as the others are concerned, like Jayadratha, Kratva Varma, and Salya, I don't think I pronounced it correct, all are determined to lay down their lives for Duryodhan's sake. In other words, it is already concluded that all of them would die in the battle of Kurukshetra. He's already thinking that they are going to die. Duryodhan was of course confident of his victory on account of the above mentioned combined strength of his friends. Okay, it's just 8:5. We can do one more text. Text 10. Our strength is immeasurable and we are perfectly protected by grandfather Bhishma, whereas the strength of Pandavas, carefully protected by Bhim, is limited. Let's read the purport. Herein, an estimation of comparative strength is made by Duryodhan. So, Duryodhan is comparing the strength of both the armies. He thinks that the strength of his armed forces is immeasurable, being specifically protected by the most experienced general, grandfather Bhishma. On the other hand, the forces of the Pandavas are limited, being protected by less experienced general, Bhima, who is like a fig in the presence of Bhishma. Okay. Duryodhan was always envious of Bhima because he knew perfectly well what if he should die at all, he would only be killed by Bhima. But at the same time, he was confident of his victory on account of the presence of Bhishma, who was a far superior general. His conclusion that he would come out of the battle victorious was well ascertained. Let's close here. We have read 10 texts of chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita. Thank you for joining. Let's end it with Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you everyone for joining. Hare Krishna.